Imagine you're standing in a large crowd. Everyone around you is shouting, someone gets hit, someone gets pushed. Would you stop them or would you join in? Most of us like to think of the answer as obvious, that we would stop them. But psychology is telling us a far more disturbing truth. In the early 1970s, psychologists were obsessed with a simple but unsettling question. Why do people give in to group norms? Or what makes us do what everyone else around us is doing? And under the right circumstances, what are ordinary people capable of?
A major motivation for evil is boredom. Because when you are bored, the antidote to boredom is novelty. So you have to do something new.
One experiment tried to answer this question, but it was shut down in just 6 days. Because what psychologists found was shocking. This is a video about one of the spookiest and highly mentioned experiments in the realm of social psychology, and it may even be one of many controversial experiments that reveal unsettling ways of how human minds work and what all it is capable of. In August 1971, American psychologist, researcher, educator, and an influential author, Philip George Zimbardo, conducted an experiment that simulated a prison setting.
Find a study in which we knew on day one that everybody who was entering that prison as prisoners and guards were as normal and healthy as possible. One of the questions we asked in our interview is, would you prefer to be a prisoner or guard in the study? And every single one said, I prefer to be a prisoner because I might be arrested someday.
Zimbardo was a psychologist who was interested in certain aspects of social psychology, such as psychology of the evil, cults, persuasion, and much more. Well, he wasn't interested in bad people. He was interested in evil situations. So he built a prison. Not a metaphorical one, an actual simulated prison, the basement of Stanford University building. Zimbardo's official words were such: we wanted to see what are the psychological effects of becoming a prisoner or a prison guard. To do this, we decided to set up a simulated prison and then carefully note the effects of this institution and behavior of those within its walls. Flyers were posted around the campus. More than 70 students volunteered. From them, 24 young men were carefully selected, mentally healthy, emotionally stable, and well-adjusted. They were paid $15 a day and were randomly assigned one of the two roles: guards or prisoners. No criminals, no authoritative figures, just students, ordinary students. To make this experiment as realistic as possible, Zimbardo did something very clever.
On Sunday morning, I'm waiting in my home, and this cop car comes up, and a guy's in the street with a huge camera, and a cop comes to my door, and he says, "We're arresting you." So I can't imagine what the neighbors were thinking.
They had the police handcuff me and take me downstairs.
There's a camera filming Doug, who's got his hand on the top of the car, and they're frisking him. They're putting him in handcuffs. They put me in the back of the cop car. They drove off, and this guy's filming the whole thing. And I really wanted to tell the neighbors, this is just an experiment.
They were arrested, handcuffed. A paper bag was placed over their heads. They were taken to an unknown location. The participants who were playing the roles of prisoners were strip searched.
I just remember being told to strip.
Socks off too.
And stand with my hands against the wall.
Given loose prison uniforms.
A smock with their number on it.
Their names were taken away, replaced with numbers. Even though they knew this was an experiment, something changed. They didn't feel like students anymore. It actually felt quite real. The guards were given uniforms, batons, and mirrored sunglasses. Reflective glasses, or mirrored glasses in this case, were important. They prevented eye contact with the prisoners. Eye contact, when prevented, creates distance and shuts down empathy.
They put like chains just on one foot and lock.
It was part of their plan to dehumanize us.
They became an object in a system as opposed to an individual.
And the guards were told one thing very clearly: you may not physically abuse the prisoners. That was it. No other instructions. At this point, the environment was very tense. The basement was dark, dingy, and secretive. We could say that Zimbardo's intention of creating a very realistic atmosphere succeeded very well. The first day passed quietly, awkward, uncomfortable, tense. The cameras recorded everything. The experiment had officially begun. On the second day itself, which was Monday, August 16th, 1971, the prisoners rebelled. They barricaded themselves in their cells. They refused to obey any orders. The guards responded immediately. Guards devised their own system of rewards and punishments. Guards asserted their authority by forcing prisoners into lineups using numbers instead of names, confiscating bedding, and subjecting them to dehumanizing tasks like push-ups, leading to the first major prisoner rebellion.
The guards kept doing irritating things like not giving us utensils to eat. They were making life yucky. But the job was to be a prisoner. You know, what do prisoners do? They get to act naughty. And we knew we could do anything. So it was like this incredible sense of freedom. So I thought, well, we'll make this a rebellion. And it turns out the doors opened into the cells. So I thought, these guards keep waking us up. Well, screw that. Let's just put the beds in front of the doors so they can't come in.
Go on horizontal. Don't let them in.
And that pissed off the guards.
Get reinforcements.
That was a reason for us to get tougher with them. We could not have them challenge our authority as guards.
The prisoners rebelled. That was the turning point, because then the guards had a reason to crush the rebellion and think of these other students as dangerous prisoners.
We took their beds away to remove that element of comfort.
No one told them to do this. They just did.
The prisoners had gotten together and decided that they were going to fight their way out of this and mounted a rebellion.
Get back from the door.
At that point, it escalated.
By day 4, something had terribly gone wrong. 3 prisoners became so traumatized that they had to be released early. Some guards became cruel, sadistic, humiliating prisoners for entertainment. Prisoners became depressed, disoriented, submissive. And here's the disturbing part. Everyone knew that this was an experiment. No one stopped playing their roles. It wasn't Zimbardo who ended the experiment. It was an outside observer, someone who hadn't slowly adapted to the environment. They were horrified.
As if that was their whole life. And each group of guards were trying to think of things to make the prisoners know they are powerless. 6 days later, it's a real prison, it's a nightmare. Guards are humiliating the prisoners, degrading the prisoners, playing games. Say, you're Frankenstein, you're Mrs. Frankenstein. Walk like Frankenstein, put them together, hug him, say you love him. So here's the homophobic thing. Stripping prisoners naked, whenever they did something wrong, again, humiliating them. In a way, it's unique as an experiment because it's really like a Greek tragedy.
The experiment, which was supposed to last 2 weeks, had to be shut down in just 6 days. If you were one of these guards, if you knew the prisoners were innocent, that they are just students, participants, just like you and me, would you have acted differently? Most of us want to say yes, but psychology has now told us a discomforting story. Why do people behave the way they did? Zimbardo believed the answer lied in one powerful concept: de-individuation.
In an experimental framework. So the question we raised was, what happens when you put good people in an evil place?
De-individuation happens when people lose their sense of self and become absorbed into a role or group. It is fueled by anonymity, no personal identity. In a group of people, people tend to lose their values and go with the flow. Diffused responsibility. It's not really me. It's what we have to do. I'm in a group and I am given a task. They don't think it's their place to be proactive and be responsible for what they're doing. Authority and uniforms. Visible power. According to psychology, possessing visible symbols of power such as a police badge or a well-pressed doctor's coat fosters de-individuation and anonymity, especially in group settings with a common goal. Strong situational roles. Zimbardo concluded that people quickly conform to the social norms or the group norms, even when the values of the group norms go completely against their own. You don't feel like you anymore. You have become your role. The most important question is, why are we learning about it? Why does this matter? Zimbardo's conclusion was unsettling. It is not the individual personality, but the situation that determines behavior. They quickly adhere to group norms and the roles they're playing, even if it isn't in line with who they are as a person. Good people don't always do bad things, and bad actions don't always mean bad intentions. Sometimes all it takes is the right situation, a fertile ground for all the ugliness to come up. So yes, ordinary people are capable of doing bad and evil things, but this isn't meant to make us feel hopeless. This is meant to make us aware, because for doctors in well-ironed white coats, policemen with shiny golden badges, and other people with powerful weapons like guns, all we need to do in such situations is take a pause to see what your values are, who you are as a person, what do you care about. It's easy to get drunk with power. Let me not care of their status quo and question them on what they are saying. You are just as equal as the person in the uniform is. All you need to do is not be silent. The most dangerous thing isn't bad people. It is when good people stop seeing themselves as individuals. The line between good and evil isn't fixed. It shifts with people, places, situations, systems, and silence. And knowing that might just be the most powerful defense we could have as social animals.